Kazuya Kinoshita is an ugly loser living a worthless life when Mami Nanami agrees to date him only to dump him after a couple of dates. Tired of getting high on single-player mode, he decides to rent a cute girlfriend. Kazuya experiences a breakup with his girlfriend after only a month of dating. Discovering that she has blocked him on social media, he becomes frustrated. In his moment of distress, he stumbles upon the Rent a Girlfriend app and decides to give it a try. The following day, he meets Chizuru, his rental girlfriend, and is pleasantly surprised by her beauty. They embark on the date he proposed, visiting the aquarium, where Chizuru's fascination with the fish captivates him. The day concludes with a significant moment as she holds his hand, making him feel special. That night, however, he stumbles upon reviews suggesting that Chizuru engages in similar activities with everyone. Feeling deceived, he leaves a negative review, claiming she doesn't even know common fish names. Determined to confront her, he decides to go on another date. During their second meeting, Kazuya, overwhelmed by Chizuru's cuteness, struggles to voice his complaints. Throughout the day, he maintains a distant and cold demeanor, treating her as a total stranger. Returning to the aquarium, Chizuru talks passionately about fish, revealing she prepared for the date. This triggers memories of his ex-girlfriend, leading him to lash out at Chizuru. In a private moment, she confronts him, reminding him that he requested a rental girlfriend and agreed to the terms. Chizuru expresses disappointment over his one-star review, an unprecedented event that affected her rating. She even brought a book about fish to prepare for their date, anticipating another negative review. Kazuya's phone interrupts the conversation with news of his grandmother's collapse. As they head to the hospital, Chizuru decides to accompany him, given that he still has time left with her. At the hospital, Nagomi, Kazuya's grandmother, excitedly assumes that Chizuru is his girlfriend. Pressured to maintain the act, Kazuya confirms this, and Nagomi grants her approval for their relationship. To escape the scrutiny, Kazuya and Chizuru hide under the sheets in a hospital bed. When Chizuru's grandmother, Sayuri, stumbles upon them, they decide to continue the charade to avoid causing trouble. Later, Chizuru suggests they tell their grandmothers about their breakup. But Kazuya, driven by his grandmother's importance, expresses his desire to introduce a real girlfriend before she passes away. Despite leaving a positive review for Chizuru and deciding not to contact her again, they unexpectedly cross paths at school the next day. Kazuya and Chizuru encounter each other at college, both feigning ignorance of their connection. Later, Chizuru takes Kazuya aside, warning him not to disclose her profession and insisting that he refrain from renting her again. To their surprise, they discover they live in adjacent apartments in the same complex. Nagomi calls Kazuya, notifying him of her upcoming visit and expressing her desire for Chizuru to join. Kazuya pleads with Chizuru to pose as his girlfriend for the visit, but she declines. When Nagomi arrives, Kazuya attempts to call Chizuru next door, but she remains adamant. Kazuya eventually reveals the truth to Nagomi, who, having already suspected a breakup, expresses her gratitude to Chizuru for providing a dreamlike experience. Chizuru overhears their conversation and reluctantly acts as Kazuya's girlfriend. She apologizes for her tardiness, claiming she was preparing food. Nagomi is delighted to see her and invites her for a future visit. As Chizuru leaves, she instructs Kazuya to bring her next Wednesday. Kazuya convinces Chizuru to continue their faux relationship for an hour each Wednesday, with the condition that he refrains from engaging with her on campus or outside the app. The next day, Kazuya encounters his ex, Mami, and is reminded of her beauty. Later, Chizuru calls him, and they visit the hospital together. Observing their interaction, Yoshiaki and Shun assume Chizuru is attempting to involve Kazuya in a sect, but ultimately acknowledge her as his girlfriend. Invited for drinks with them and Sasano, Kazuya reluctantly accepts. During the gathering, Mami unexpectedly shows up, apologizing for the oversight. Kazuya feels awkward but continues to support Chizuru. After a brief restroom break, he returns to find Mami conversing with Chizuru. Mami proceeds to recount Kazuya's purported troublesome libido and intimate details from their past relationship. Chizuru defends him, insisting that discussing private matters about their exes is inappropriate. As tensions rise, Kazuya admits to his nature, prompting Chizuru to leave. After the party, Kazuya reflects on Chizuru's defense, acknowledging her support despite her status as a rental girlfriend. Mami follows Kazuya and expresses gratitude for his defense, inviting him to her place. Mami tells Kazuya that she lied about having a boyfriend. A message from her brother makes her realize he's home with friends, so she informs Kazuya they can't go there. Kazuya sees this as an opportunity and decides to invite her to his place. Mami is surprised, and Kazuya panics, assuring her it's nothing inappropriate and that she's just too attractive. Mommy pats his head, and Kazuya feels guilty for jumping to conclusions and not standing up for Chizuru. Mommy starts criticizing Chizuru, thinking she's unstable because she was quiet all night, and then had an outburst. Kazuya defends Chizuru, stating she isn't like that, and while he still likes Mommy, he won't let her badmouth Chizuru. Kazuya heads to Chizuru's apartment to apologize but sees her returning home. He apologizes for being pathetic, stating it's fine as he's just her rental boyfriend. Chizuru is okay with continuing as they are, making Kazuya happy. Kazuya's group plans a beach trip, and he's surprised that Mommy wants him to come and isn't upset with him. They suggest inviting Chizuru, but he explains it was too sudden to ask her. Secretly, Mommy is upset that Kazuya is dating someone within a month of their breakup and decides to break them up. She apologizes to Kazuya for her previous behavior, reminiscing about their month together, and even mentioning the name they chose for their future child. Kazuya considers telling her the truth about Chizuru but sees other college acquaintances. Chizuru and her friends are also at the beach in her Ikenos persona, unbeknownst to Kazuya's friends. Choosing not to reveal Chizuru's identity to avoid embarrassment, Kazuya goes along with it. Kazuya, tasked with buying things, takes a moment in the bathroom to clear his mind. To his surprise, Chizuru attempts to enter, and seeing her, he pulls her in. Confirming they're just a client and rental girlfriend, he explains he might have a chance to reconcile with Mommy, and didn't want Chizuru to interfere. This annoys Chizuru, who yells at him, emphasizing that he's just a client. However, they hear Mommy outside wondering if Kazuya is there. Kazuya goes out, claiming he's alone, but Mommy realizes he's lying. As Mommy tries to open the door, Chizuru comes out pretending to be Mizuhara. Kazuya's friends arrive, and he explains she's from his region, visiting him at the beach. Mommy apologizes to Chizuru, but secretly she becomes more frustrated with her presence. The group returns to the beach, with Kazuya going into the sea while Chizuru stays on the beach. Mommy calls Kazuya behind some rocks, claiming she lost her bracelet and asking for his help. However, she ends up kissing him. Kazuya reflects on his past with Mommy, recalling their initial meeting, confessions, and the moments leading up to their first kiss. In the present, after the kiss, Mommy apologizes, citing her lack of control. She urges Kazuya to act normally around others, and they rejoin the group. However, Kazuya can't shake off the impact of the kiss. Nagomi calls him, announcing her discharge and the newfound freedom to see Chizuru whenever. When the group inquires about Chizuru's residence, Kazuya, unable to disclose it, discloses a fabricated story about considering a breakup. Yoshiaki, infuriated, confronts Kazuya, assuming Chizuru ended things due to his behavior with Mommy, leading to a brawl. Leaving the scene, Chizuru praises Kazuya's resilience, emphasizing that the others are unaware of the actual circumstances. Kazuya informs her that his grandma's discharge is imminent, prompting him to end their rental arrangement. Chizuru returns to the store to retrieve her belongings but finds herself unable to change when she spots her friends outside. Yoshiaki approaches her, seeking a conversation. Unaware of Kazuya's eavesdropping, Yoshiaki acknowledges Kazuya's flaws, but narrates an optimistic tale about him not giving up on a flower at school. As a gesture, Yoshiaki hands Chizuru 2 ferry tickets, urging her to grant Kazuya another chance. They decide to return via ferry and announce their breakup after considering their discussion. Unbeknownst to them, Kazuya overhears their plans. On the ferry, Chizuru begins to feel unwell, prompting Kazuya to promise not to rent her again and to avoid contact at college. Simultaneously, Mommy calls Kazuya, requesting a meeting. While Chizuru is feeling unwell and steps outside, the ferry shakes, causing her to fall overboard. Hearing about a girl matching Chizuru's description falling into the water, Kazuya drops his phone and jumps in to rescue her. Kazuya manages to reach Chizuru underwater. She later wakes up on the beach and recalls the fall. Turning, she finds unconscious Kazuya, remembering that he came to her rescue. Chizuru starts giving CPR and eventually resorts to mouth, and Kazuya finally awakens. The Coast Guard discovers them and reprimands them. His friends, informed of the incident, also scolded him. He spends the night at the local hospital, missing his meeting with Mommy. After discharge, Kazuya goes home and contemplates masturbating to Mommy's pictures, but he can't get Chizuru out of his mind, realizing he has already fallen for her. Nagomi celebrates her discharge by going to a hot spring resort, taking Kazuya along. At the resort, she reveals that Sayuri, Chizuru's grandma, is with her. Nagomi insists Kazuya stay in a different room as she wants to share with Sayuri. Entering his room, Kazuya is surprised to find Chizuru already there. She, too, realizes this was their grandma's plan. Chizuru guides Kazuya to their grandma's, but Nagomi and Sayuri refuse to change rooms, citing their ordered food and the inconvenience. Chizuru mentions they still haven't been intimate with Kazuya, surprising Nagomi and Sayuri, who encourage them to seize the opportunity. Back in their room, Chizuru decides to savor the stay and heads to the baths, encountering Nagomi. Nagomi assists her in washing and sharing that her husband passed away on this date, making it a special day with Chizuru. Chizuru wonders what Nagomi will think if she learns she isn't what she imagined, but Nagomi explains that everyone lies a bit, and assures her of unwavering love even if she's an alien. Returning to her room, Chizuru continues to enjoy her time, sharing drinks and food with Kazuya. Before sleeping, Kazuya prepares to stay in the room near the bathroom, but Chizuru insists he stay with her. Chizuru instructs Kazuya to share the same room, and his mind starts to wander, leading her to give him a playful hit as she senses his desire. At night, he asks if he can continue renting her and requests not to disclose their breakup to their grandmas. Kazuya feels a sense of growth with her by his side, and Chizuru concurs. Kazuya and Chizuru publicly declare that they will remain a couple in front of Kazuya's friends. Later, they encounter Shun, who informs Kazuya about his girlfriend and proposes a double date. Kazuya tries to dissuade him, but Shun is determined. On their way home, Kazuya accidentally collides with a girl, catching a glimpse of her underwear, and she labels him a pervert. On the day of the double date, Shun takes them to a free climbing venue, introducing his girlfriend, Ruka Sarashina. Kazuya recognizes her as the girl from the earlier encounter and is surprised that Shun landed such a beautiful girl. While Kazuya and Ruka struggle with climbing, Chizuru excels. Observing Chizuru's poses during the climb, Kazuya realizes Shun's suggestive intention and starts appreciating the view. After some time, Ruka calls Chizuru aside, questioning if she's a rental girlfriend. Chizuru denies it, causing Kazuya to panic, fearing the news will spread throughout the school if Shun finds out. In the bathroom, Chizuru assures Ruka they are genuinely dating and returns to Kazuya. Panicking, he devises a plan when Ruka insists on witnessing a kiss. Kazuya covers their faces with Chizuru's phone and strategically places her hand between their lips. Unconvinced, Ruka presses on, but Shun returns before anything more happens. Kazuya concocts a quick explanation, stating Chizuru had to visit her grandma, and she leaves. To ensure Chizuru doesn't spill the truth, he stays with Shun and Ruka, seeing Ruka off. Kazuya is surprised at how brief Shun's date was and realizes that Ruka could reveal the truth at any time. As he decides to go after her, Ruka waits around the corner, stating that this confirms their relationship was never real. Ruka confronts Kazuya, who still attempts to deny the truth. In his effort to stop her from leaving, he accidentally touches her inappropriately, prompting her to hit him with her bag. Persistent, he follows her, pleading with her not to reveal Chizuru's status as a rental girlfriend. Ruka suspects Kazuya rented her for shallow reasons, but he explains everything and implores her to promise not to disclose the secret. Frustrated, Ruka expresses disappointment in people who seek rental girlfriends, viewing them as shallow and superficial, and runs away. As she nearly collides with an elderly woman, she manages to avoid her but loses her balance, teetering on the stairs. Kazuya grabs her, softening the fall. Despite saving her, Kazuya continues to beg Ruka not to reveal the truth, emphasizing the trouble it would cause Chizuru. Surprisingly, Ruka discloses that she is a rental girlfriend as well. Kazuya later informs Chizuru about Ruka's occupation and how she discovered it. They decide to keep an eye on Ruka, uncertain if she can be trusted to keep their secret. The next day, while Kazuya waits for Shun, Ruka unexpectedly appears at his college. Claiming she came to see him, they run and hide upon spotting Shun approaching. Ruka instructs Kazuya to hug her for confirmation, but as Shun nears, they hide under a desk. While hugging, Ruka's phone makes a noise, alerting Shun to their presence. Ruka thanks Kazuya for renting her, shocking Shun, who then flees. Unable to find Shun, Kazuya returns home and discusses the situation with Chizuru through the door. To their surprise, Ruka shows up, explaining that Shun informed her of Kazuya's residence. Discovering Chizuru is his neighbor, Ruka becomes frustrated, questioning the extent of their relationship. She promises not to disclose Chizuru's rental status if Kazuya agrees to go out with her. Ruka admits she has developed feelings for him and believes that if he treats a rental girlfriend well, and risks his life on the ferry, he will treat his actual girlfriend even better. Chizuru and Kazuya talk about the situation, and although Kazuya admits to finding Ruka cute, he doesn't like her. However, due to his friendship with Shun, he hesitates to accept Ruka's proposal. Eventually, he decides to find Shun and reveal that Chizuru is also a rental girlfriend, hoping to salvage the situation while keeping it a secret. As he attempts to leave, Ruka spots him and gives chase, expressing her desire to be with someone like him and revealing that she broke up with Shun intentionally to be with Kazuya. Despite her pleas, Kazuya maintains his stance, prompting Chizuru to advise him to go out with Ruka, acknowledging that she genuinely seems to like him, and leaving her on her own might lead to more significant problems. Kazuya begins spending time with Ruka, putting an end to his arrangement with Chizuru. However, keeping up with Ruka proves challenging. She demands frequent phone conversations, insists on Kazuya liking her tweets, and expects prompt responses to her messages. There's also the constant fear that she might expose his fake relationship with Chizuru. As Christmas approaches, Ruka visits Kazuya at college, but he urges her not to come due to the possibility of Shun seeing them. They make plans to see a movie on Saturday instead. Kazuya starts to feel a void without Chizuru, only to discover that she is booked for Christmas. The next day, he sees her dressed up and meeting a boy. Initially suspecting a client, he realizes the boy could be her boyfriend. Concerned, he follows them, learning the boy's name is Yumi. He ends up watching a movie with them, having lunch, and overhearing their plan to eat at Yumi's place. Feeling he has lost her, he goes to a restroom where, to his surprise, Yumi enters. Yumi's phone conversation raises suspicions, and Kazuya becomes convinced that Yumi has ulterior motives. Believing him to be Chizuru's boyfriend with ill intentions, Kazuya decides to continue following them. At a Christmas tree, he intervenes just as Yumi is about to kiss Chizuru. However, Chizuru explains that Yumi was merely fixing her earrings and clarifies that they are not a couple. She is surprised that Kazuya knows about the dinner at Yumi's place, but Yumi correctly assumes Kazuya is referring to the script. Chizuru reveals she is an actress, explaining that the acting school is expensive, and Yumi is another actor from her school. Kazuya wonders about the suspicious phone call in the restroom, and Yumi explains he was recommending Chizuru to a director. After Yumi leaves, Kazuya admits to following them since they met but decides to stop. However, fearing Yumi might be untrustworthy, he couldn't let it go. Realizing Chizuru is from a different world, he gives Yumi a present, a phone case, as a token of apology for his behavior. Moved, Kazuya tears up, touched by the first Christmas gift a girl has ever given him. Kazuya eagerly receives his new phone case, thinking he's the only one who received a gift from a rental girlfriend. Reading reviews and comments about Chizuru, he discovers that other guys have also received presents. The next day, he expresses his concern to Chizuru, suggesting that other guys might interpret the gifts differently. Chizuru clarifies that giving presents is part of the agency's policy, and reminds him that she is his rental girlfriend. She asks if he likes her, but he declines. Consequently, she suggests they maintain a strictly business relationship. As they part ways, Ruka intercepts them and insists that Kazuya go on a date with her. During their date, Kazuya can't stop thinking about Chizuru, and Ruka decides to blindfold him and take him to a love hotel. There, Kazuya panics when he sees Ruka taking off her socks. Attempting to escape, Ruka stops him, demanding to know everything about his relationship with Chizuru. Kazuya explains the situation with his grandma, and Ruka proposes that he introduce her as his real girlfriend to replace Chizuru. Kazuya hesitates, mentioning his grandma's fondness for Chizuru, but Ruka is ready to take things to the next level. He runs into the bathroom, but upon returning, Ruka has already left. For New Year's, Kazuya brings Chizuru to meet his grandma and parents. To their surprise, Ruka shows up, claiming she'll be joining them. Panicking, Chizuru and Kazuya introduce her as a friend. Ruka immediately flatters Nagomi, and when they reach the restaurant, Nagomi questions their connection. Kazuya explains that Ruka is Chizuru's friend, but Ruka boldly declares herself as his girlfriend. In private, Nagomi confronts Kazuya for two-timing and insists that he cut ties with them or break up with Ruka. Kazuya tries to explain that Ruka is a pathological liar, but Nagomi doubts that Chizuru would let him two-times her. Ruka tells Chizuru that their lie won't last forever and complicates things. She suggests that Chizuru is only keeping up the act because she wants to be Kazuya's real girlfriend, proposing that if Chizuru isn't interested, she should step aside. During dinner, Ruka feeds Kazuya, but Nagomi and his parents remain unfazed. Realizing something is amiss, Nagomi calls Kazuya to talk privately. While Kazuya explains the situation to his grandma, Ruka plans to confess everything to Nagomi. But Nagomi expresses gratitude for meeting Ruka, stating she has many questions about Chizuru. Chizuru arrives, relieved to have found them, and Nagomi along with the rest, and continues toward the shrine. Chizuru reassures Kazuya that everything is okay, and he thanks Ruka for keeping quiet. Ruka, determined, tells him that the battle of endurance has just begun. Ruka secures a job at the same place as Kazuya, a space free from any Chizuru encounters. Just when Kazuya thinks his luck couldn't get worse, Yoshiaki and other friends show up at his workplace, mocking him. Yoshiaki shares concerns about Shun's odd behavior and somber tweets. Kazuya suspects Ruka is the cause and requests her to apologize. However, she fears it might complicate matters, emphasizing she has yet to work as a rental since they started dating. Kazuya ponders how to help Shun, knowing it's challenging to uplift him while pretending to have a girlfriend. He approaches Chizuru with a favor. The following day, Kazuya arranges a meeting with Shun. To his surprise, Chizuru shows up, introducing herself as Shun's rental girlfriend. Shun is incredulous and verifies her rental status online, still suspicious that Kazuya might be dating her and it's a prank. Reluctantly, he accompanies Chizuru to an amusement park, opting not to join in initially. However, seeing that Chizuru would go alone, he decides to stay with her. Throughout the day, Shun is reminded of the companionship he misses and expresses a genuine desire for a real girlfriend. As the evening approaches, he intends to pay Chizuru, but she reveals it's already settled. Spotting Kazuya observing them, Chizuru excuses herself, allowing Shun and Kazuya to talk. After hearing the whole story, Shun bursts into laughter, feeling relieved. When Chizuru returns, Kazuya departs. Curious, Shun asks Chizuru if a rental could develop feelings for a client. Chizuru, recalling her conversation with Kazuya and his willingness to embarrass himself to prevent Shun from hating women, gives no definitive answer, leaving Shun to believe she might have feelings for Kazuya. The next day, Kazuya receives a note from Chizuru, asking him to meet her on the balcony that evening. Anticipating various possibilities, he complies. On the balcony, Chizuru surprises him by requesting him to rent her friend, Sumi Sakurasawa, who recently joined as a rental girlfriend. Sumi is shy, and clients have complained about her. Kazuya agrees to help. Chizuru then inquires about Mami, and Kazuya reveals they haven't spoken since the beach incident, unsure if he still loves her. Sakurasawa Sumi details her daily routine. She wakes up at 4 a.m. 5 minutes before her alarm clock rings, and changes out of her night clothes. She brushes her teeth and indulges in a session of morning calligraphy. After a bit, she walks her dog that she took with her after she moved out from her family home. She greets the same old man she always runs into while walking her dog and heads back home to take a shower. After freshening up, she heads to college where she is a brainiac who loves Japanese history and hates international communications. She is usually booked twice a week, and clients are either personally chosen or randomly assigned. Sumi admits she feels uncomfortable in her girlfriend mode and is shy during dates. She admires Chizuru and seeks her advice. Mizuhara thinks that Sumi is a lovely girl and that she is very cute, diligent, and pure of heart. Mizuhara finds it a mystery why Sumi is so shy. Chizuru encourages Sumi to build confidence, assuring her that she, too, was nervous at the beginning and believes some clients will appreciate her for who she is. The following day, Kazuya waits Sumi and spots a girl hiding behind a column. Sumi meets Kazuya but can't seem to utter a word. Kazuya finds Sumi beyond introverted, and after confirming it's Sumi without uttering a word, they go for coffee. Kazuya observes Sumi's shyness and introversion, evident in her silence, and tells her to think of him as a shadow or something and tells Sumi to not be nervous. While having his coffee, Sumi still hasn't said anything and Kazuya wonders what the rental girlfriends do during their training period. Kazuya asks Sumi if she wants to practice smiling and Sumi pumps herself up by slapping her cheeks. After delivering a weird smirk, Kazuya accidentally says out loud that it sucks and tells Sumi that he misspoke and she's just awkward while smiling. Kazuya wants to live up to Mizuhara's expectations and vows to do his best to train Sumi. During bowling, Sumi seems to get the hang of it but she slips and falls over, which highlights her discomfort. Kazuya inquires about her motivation to become a rental girlfriend, and Sumi, using gestures, expresses a desire for personal change. When 3 intimidating guys approach Sumi, Kazuya does not want to intervene as that could cause a fight and wants to wait until the men go away, but they keep harassing Sumi, so he steps up to avoid disappointment for Chizuru. After leaving the bowling area, Sumi utters some words. She apologizes as the men from earlier badmouth Kazuya. He laughs as this is the first thing Sumi has spoken since the start of their date and tells her not to worry about it. As they continue their date with various activities, they eventually go roller skating. After a mishap with his nose, Kazuya returns to find Mami with Sumi. Panicking, Kazuya introduces Sumi as his girlfriend, surprised that Sumi maintains the act, complicating his situation further. Mami comments on Kazuya's apparent change in the presence of another cute girl, promising not to inform Chizuru. As the date concludes, Kazuya assures Sumi to take things at her own pace. Despite Sumi's limited conversation, Kazuya recognizes her effort to make the date enjoyable. Sumi calls Kazuya's name, expressing a desire to meet again before leaving. Kazuya finds it endearing but hesitates to rent her again, mindful of the problems that arose with Chizuru. Sumi later updates Chizuru on the date and how Kazuya saved her from some troublemakers. Back at home, Mommy can't shake thoughts of Kazuya. She's surprised that he, of all people, is two-timing someone, especially with a cute girl like Sumi. Unable to find Sumi on social media, Mommy discovers she is a rental girlfriend. Chizuru calls Kazuya to the balcony and expresses gratitude for taking out Sumi, acknowledging that she enjoyed her time. Chizuru reveals considering leaving her rental girlfriend's job, as director Yumi expressed interest in casting her for a role. Although saddened by the news, Kazuya thanks her for everything she has done. The following day, Chizuru has a date with a customer named Maya. To her surprise, the customer is revealed to be Mommy. Kazuya reluctantly agrees to go on a date with Ruka. They head out on their date and people compare Ruka to an angel and Kazuya to a chimpanzee because of his appearance. The duo heads to go shopping and Kazuya is flustered seeing Ruka in a lavender-colored dress. He remembers Mizuhara having a scarf that color. He apologizes for bringing up Mizuhara, but Ruka expresses that she knows Kazuya still loves Mizuhara, and that is why she has decided to make Kazuya fall in love with her. Kazuya is touched by this revelation and thinks about how cheerful, determined, and passionate Ruka really is. Later during their job, a lot of men come up asking Ruka if she is single, and Kazuya takes Ruka into a room, and as he contemplates asking her to be his girlfriend, he notices Mommy and Chizuru entering a room. He watches in shock as the duo passes by the hallway. Mommy puts a wad of cash on the table for Mizuhara to take, but she declines, so Mommy puts the money in Mizuhara's bag. Mizuhara asks Mommy how long she has known about her job and Mommy replies that she has known for a week or two. Mommy happened to be looking up rental girlfriends on the app and found out then. Sitting in the karaoke room, Mommy asks Mizuhara what song she wants to sing along to. But Mizuhara just wants to know the reason for this meeting. Mommy walks closer to Mizuhara and puts down her mic in front of her and asks Mizuhara to sing. Meanwhile, Kazuya can't focus on his work as he wonders why Mommy and Mizuhara, and together he wonders if Mommy has figured out Mizuhara's job and is very worried. So Kazuya decides to listen to the duo's conversation. He overhears and witnesses Mommy's attempt to pay Mizuhara, which is declined. He learns that Mommy has known about Chizuru's profession for a while. Seizing an opportunity, Kazuya feigns illness to discreetly follow them. While eavesdropping, Kazuya hears Mommy telling Chizuru that she feels bad that Kazuya can't get a real girlfriend because he has a rental one. She expresses that Kazuya paying Mizuhara to be his girlfriend pisses her off. Kazuya watches as the duo leaves and Ruka catches up to Kazuya and asks him what he wanted to talk about earlier. But he leaves, saying that he is not in the mood right now. In the staff room, Kazuya is worried because Mommy now knows about his rental relationship with Mizuhara, and that she is tagging along with Kazuya because she pities him. Kazuya spots some sparkling water on the table and chugs it, attempting to vomit. His boss and Ruka see this and he lies to them that he is sick. He is granted leave and Ruka suggests that she come along, but Kazuya declines as he doesn't want his sickness passed on to her. As soon as he leaves, work starts running. He tries to figure out which way the duo went so that he can follow them. He feels really bad since Mizuhara was going to quit the business and that this was all about to end. Why did this have to happen right before the end? On a bridge, Mommy bids farewell to Mizuhara and tells her not to worry as she won't tell anybody about her fake relationship with Kazuya, but she interrupts asking Mommy if she has feelings for Kazuya. Mizuhara reveals to Mommy that Kazuya had sworn to make Mommy happy, and she wasn't someone Kazuya could easily forget. Mizuhara is sure that Kazuya still has a special place in his heart for Mommy. After a moment of silence, Mommy asks Mizuhara what she feels about Kazuya and Mizuhara asserts to a skeptical Mommy that he is her boyfriend. Chizuru questions Mommy's feelings, asking if she ever considered that he might be the love of her life. Kazuya, who is overhearing this conversation, has tears dripping down his face, but Mommy's response remains vague and she leaves. Later that night, Kazuya expresses gratitude to Mizuhara for defending him. He reveals that he overheard everything between her and Mommy. He assures Mizuhara that he wasn't stalking her or anything. He thanks Mizuhara for standing up for him when he couldn't himself. When Mizuhara apologizes for not securing a girlfriend, he thinks about how beautiful, smart, and amazing Mizuhara really is and how great his life would be if she was his girlfriend. He unexpectedly confesses that he wants her and it has to be her. As Mizuhara blushes, she asks him what he really means, and flustered, Kazuya clarifies and admits it's in the context of a rental girlfriend and that he is going to be sad when she quits. He bids Mizuhara a farewell and heads inside his home. Inside his apartment, Kazuya thinks to himself that he has gone crazy and that he needs someone to put him in his place. He realizes that when he witnessed Chizuru's defending him in front of Mommy, his feelings rekindled for Mizuhara. Meanwhile, inside Mizuhara's apartment, she becomes flustered. The next day, everyone goes back to their day-to-day lives. That's all for today. We hope you enjoyed our video. Give us a like and subscribe to our channel for more fantastic and steamy content.